everyone, welcome to this video. This is a new series called Let's Build This. In today's episode, we're gonna be trying to recreating artwork of the artist called Rob Milus. He goes by Roko on Instagram. I got in touch with him if I can recreate one of his artwork, which he agreed to with, so we can rip him off. Now, this is purely to try out how we would do this in Cinema 4D and Redshift. There's a couple of useful techniques we're gonna be going over today, like metric scattering, how to create landscape with it, how to create fake fog using fog cards, and then some particle effects. So it could be pretty interesting. You can follow along. This video is 2 hours, which is too much, but I will try to make it as easy for you to jump through as I can. So thank you very much for supporting me, and definitely get in touch. What would you like to see next? This is going to be bi-weekly episodes. Every Saturday, I would say every Saturday was going to be Let's Build This. Also give a like to Rob Milus for agreeing, to recreating his artwork, and just check him out because his artwork is super sexy. Yo, so here we are in Cinema 4D, and I have opened as well Quixel Bridge. So first thing first, we gonna use Tundra, the new asset pack from Quixel Bridge. So if you don't have Quixel Bridge, I recommend you to install it. It's free, and there's so many cool assets. So we're gonna go to Tundra and we're gonna download some stuff first. So as you can see, if you see the green icon, it's ready to download, but I've already downloaded some, so those are ready to export. So I've downloaded some Tundra small stones. Those gonna be our stones that levitate around the main artifact, right? And if I go back to Quixel Bridge, then the next thing we're gonna need is these mossy ground and rocky ground, which we're gonna scatter. There's another rocky ground here which I downloaded, and I downloaded also this one. Maybe I didn't. So I have those two as well. This one is kind of weird shape. I don't know if I want it. It has everything and nothing. So I don't think I need that many. I guess four ground objects will do. So make sure they're kind of flat. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so that's enough. Then I have a couple small rocks here. There's another Tundra small stone. So I've downloaded a couple of those, and I can see here as well this Tundra stone. So these will be the assets we'll be using, because Rob Milus was using these, I guess, because when I look at the example that we're going to be recreating, I can see the large stones and kind of rocks. So I thought Tundra asset pack will be ideal for it, and I think it's brand new. So let's use it. We'll see what we get. The next thing we're gonna have to recreate is those particles. So I'll leave it at the end, and let's build the scene first. We're gonna use a dome light around, and then we're gonna create the fake fog cards using fog cards, which I heard in Punisher streams that he does that, and this will save us some kind of processing power. And as well, we can achieve those nice, you see these rocks that are barely noticeable, at the very back. So we can achieve those, and I'm gonna show you how. So what we're gonna learn today is it's 2 useful techniques: how to create fake fog and how to scatter, and creating landscapes with metric scatter. So let's hide this for now, and I'm gonna import some stuff into Cinema 4D. I'm gonna first save our project. So save project, and I'm gonna call it 59 Tundra artifact. Let's build this 001. So episode 001. Okay. So we've got that. Now, first thing first, in terms of navigating inside Cinema 4D, everything I press, you can see on the screen now, hopefully. So you won't be able to pause video and look what I'm actually doing, and you can kind of slow down and you can, you know, do it yourself. So if I'm gonna be working too fast, you can always pause and see what I'm pressing, what am I doing. And whenever I click, you will see this yellow circle as well. So this is because of I have running this this program, Carnac, which is made by amazing people, Brendan Foster, Alex Friedman, John Galloway, and many others. So it's a Code 52 project. So big up to those people that allow me to actually, you know, make those tutorials better, because you can now see all the things that I'm pressing in real time. So that's really good. So what we're going to start with, we're going to start importing some assets, and we're going to build the rocks first. So I want to create first some kind of a composition idea. And for me to do that, what we can, you know, put in the scene first is the human body. So we can go to the objects and we can put the figure in, right? So this way we know its height, it's 180 centimeters. So we have a just kind of average human here, maybe a little bit taller than average. I don't know. Right. And what am I going to do now? I'm just going to start importing these assets as we spoke about these. And first I'm going to start importing the ground. So I said I have 5 of those. So I'm going to import the Nordic mossy ground. And as you can see, it's exporting to Cinema 4D. And if I go to Cinema 4D, the ground is there, right? It's that easy. So it already has applied correct material to it, because if you go to settings and I'm in Redshift, so it will automatically prepare my material for Redshift. So I don't have to worry about anything. So this way we are, you know, working much faster. For those of you who don't have access to Quixel Bridge for whatever reason, then you can use stuff like landscape, right? And you can use those and then apply materials to it. So you can use multiple landscapes, right, with different kind of similar materials of rocky ground, and you can use that instead. I won't be focusing on that, but if you're following along and you don't have access to Quixel Bridge, then you're gonna have to find your own rocks and your own ground, so build those landscapes. Okay, so we have the first one. Let's do the other ones. So now I don't remember which one I think this one is the next one. So export it successfully. Now I'm gonna do this one. Tundra rocky ground. Just gonna go back to it. Just gonna make sure. 1, 2, 3. So 3 different, right? Cool. That's the 3 different ones. Let's go back to Quixel Bridge and maybe import those rocky ones. So large rocks and the small ones. And that should be it. Let's do these 5s. No, I didn't want that. Okay, so now as you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have those. And I'm just gonna check the last 2. So those are a bit smaller, which is fine. I'm just gonna try to maybe make them same size for the sake of when we're gonna scatter, so they have kind of a same value when we're gonna start multiplying them. I'm just gonna make it like that. Maybe that's too much, yeah. And this one maybe make a little bit smaller. So all I'm doing is basically ERT is your best friend. So E the movement, R rotation, and T for scaling. And all I'm doing is just pressing T for scale and drag anywhere. Like you need to highlight that object and drag anywhere, and you can scale uniformly. Because if I would drag any of those, I would scale it on those axes I'm actually dragging it. So I just gonna drag, I'm gonna click anywhere outside and drag and okay, that's enough. So now I have this. I would probably, the best idea is to put it into groups. So Alt plus G, Alt G, and let's say, well, let's call it ground planes. So we have ground planes, and we're gonna call our metric scatter. So I like to look at how it looks. So as well, before we do that, we're gonna bring our dome light. So I start with dome light because dome light is just such a universal white light. So we have our person, we have our 5 different, kind of types of ground. Maybe I can just make it not so tall. Yeah. And now we're just gonna mix them and create a random kind of landscape using metric scatter. So I have it here. I've dragged it out. So you can go to Redshift and you can go to materials, tools. No. Where is it? Oh, it's here. Sorry. So you can go to Redshift, Objects, Metric Scatter. And I'm going to bring it in. And it will create the grid here. You can't see it really, but if I push this one out, so I press E, just move this one out. So it will create the grid, and that grid is just the matrix objects that are representing, instancing these objects soon. So I'm gonna go to Redshift matrix and go to Redshift object and set the particles. So in Redshift object, we go to particles and we say, hey, let us put custom objects in. And now one by one, we need to drag in, to click and drag, right? Because if you click it, it will just disappear and it'll like, I need to go again. So you need to click on matrix, go to Redshift object particles. So we did the first one there. We're gonna do the second one, third one, fourth, and fifth. So you can see our planes disappear from Redshift, and they all being just multiplied here, and we have a sequential distribution. So it will, it will distribute them the way that they are organized from top to bottom, and then it'll start again. But we can change that by just using random. And next thing we can do is to actually go to our matrix object tab, and we kind of spread it. So we kind of see actually, how much we can afford to spread it. So I would spread a size X, I presume, and Z. And as you can see, immediately we're getting nice and random landscape. This is fantastic. Okay. The next thing we can do to randomize this even further, we can apply random object to the matrix. So with the matrix highlighted, we click random, right? You can find it in if you go to plane modifier, so you can go random, and we need to go into it and just delete that position Y, and we can leave positioning. You see how it moving our metric scatter and just kind of changing. It's also working quite fast. If you look at it, how many instances of these planes we have, and it kind of works well. So that's pretty impressive for, you know, for the scale. I'm just gonna press Control F for our Redshift to reveal full screen kind of image. And now I'm just looking at our person. This would be our landscape. I'm pretty happy actually with it. I don't think we need any more, but all we want is basically you know, make it look like it's not actually, you know, just kind of repeated texture, and it looks very random. So we can include the rotation as well, and we can do horizontal rotation. So r.h, and we can just change it, rotate it slightly so it will randomize it even further. But it looks pretty random to me, so if you are okay to carry on, we are good to go. Now we can always look back to our reference. So as you can see on our reference, the ground is not really important, but I wanted to have some details there and to have some texture. So that's why we're starting with those. So I would put the Redshift matrix object inside the ground planes as well as the random, because they're all related. They're all part of our big plane. Okay. Now we have our human, and now we need to bring the bigger rocks. We need to build a scene, and we're going to have one center stage where it's going to be our bigger rock. So I would say we'll bring our cylinder, and you can use those yellow handles and we can stretch it, which I'm not doing properly. Oh yeah, like that. And then make it smaller by using this yellow handle. And you can see that it's barely popping out, and maybe that's what I like. Just so it's there, but it's being covered by ground and dirt. So something like that, probably. And this is where our rock will be. So I'm just gonna move that human out of the way. And gonna go back to Quixel Bridge and bring our rocks. So this is Tundra Legend Boulder. Okay, if I pronounce that well. So we exported successfully. What else? What kind of boulders? These I have for sure. These are great. I like these sharp rocks. And this boulder. Okay, let's not import too many. Oh, the computer is just like, oh, what are you doing to me? Okay, and I'm gonna press R for rotating, and by using blue gizmo, I'm just gonna rotate it while holding shift, rotate it 90 degrees, and then press E, bring it up. That's good. So just bring this up and let it there, right? And just gonna press T, scale it, press E, bring it up. Great. These are massive. Massive. Maybe press T, hold the, take it by the red gizmo, just drag it a little bit, make it not so tall. I want it that wide, but not so tall. And now what we're gonna do, we're gonna bring other rocks. Oh, are they there? Oh no, it's there actually. So this one is here, and we can just do the same thing. Press R, rotate by the blue gizmo, hold shift. So we have a flying rock levitating, and press T and scale it a lot, right? So I can hold Alt, and just by dragging and holding Alt, I can move around my scene, and I can push it a bit further. So I want to see that, right? I want to see that. And am I going to duplicate it just by holding Control and drag in the green one and just duplicate it over there. Now press T and press T, so it's changed to scale, and drag anywhere just to scale it and rotate it so we see it from different angle. So we think it's a different rock. Do we think that? Maybe. Nice. So we have that, and now we're just gonna go to Quixel Bridge and bring more boulders. Nordic rock. This one's kind of big. This one looks massive. I don't know if I brought these. So again, bring it up. If you press O, then it will zoom onto the object that you have currently highlighted. So I'm there. I'm just gonna make it bigger. I'm just kind of slowly building the scene, moving around these rocks. Okay. Just gonna copy this rock over, bring it towards us, lift it up, and maybe press T, scale it so it's wide, and just kind of randomly, rotate it just so it's kind of natural, sits like that. Okay, maybe that's too natural, too wild. Okay. By using rotation, it's just gonna okay. Now I need to scale this one even further. So I'll scale it like that. So I see I'm adjusting my scene as I go. That's why the human is there. It's really good. Okay. I kind of don't like this boulder here. Maybe if I completely rotate it, use the green gizmo, use the red one. Okay. Struggle. So we have some kind of just gonna make it wider. We don't want to stretch the mesh too much, but we can afford some stretching because the quality assets from Unreal are unreal. So we have something like that. I can see the platform needs adjusting. So we're just going to stretch the platform to be bigger. Yeah. So and now we have those flying rocks. I will look at our reference again. So the way we recall it, we go to picture viewer. If you don't have the reference there, you can just double click this list menu here and you bring the image from here like this. So I brought it and so I look at it. So I have two rocks. I have the platform, which we can't see right now. because of my bad print screen. And we have these other artifacts in the background, and plus some kind of a landscape, kind of rocks. So we're gonna try to do that, finish this off, and then we're gonna start working on that look for our dome light. So we're still gonna work on the rocks. So you can, I guess I can hold control. Just gonna spread these. So I can also highlight by holding shift. I highlight both of those. So I hold one, holding shift, highlight the other one, and press Alt G. So it will put them into, and I'll call it main artifact. Just so I know, you know, I have them separate, kind of a, also cylinder should be named platform. So we'll name it platform. Okay. So we have that. I can go to Quixel Bridge and download this couple materials as well. I think it was these. So if I download Mossy Ground, it will import into Cinema 4D, and then I can create some kind of a landscape like we talked about previously. So look at the landscape and then apply that material to that landscape by just dragging it on top of that. Now I have the landscape created. So if I click it, go to object and increase that middle value here, I can literally just raise and create some kind of a, if I stretch it, just some kind of uneven land, just some kind of boulders, large kind of, right? I can hold control, duplicate this, have something here, just on a different, with kind of different scaling. And it's going to be far, so there's no important too much detail, but just so we don't have that, yeah, that looks pretty good to me. I'm just going to lift that one as well. I'm going to press T, stretch it, just make it bigger. And put it further. Yeah. Just put it further up. Okay. So yeah, this is something I'm thinking I'm just gonna go to our ground planes, go to our Redshift matrix, and just kind of push it, because we are gonna see everything that is behind the camera is just useless. So I might as well use this and stretch this alongside. So how far do we need to stretch it? If I can kind of remove this, and let's find out how many I need. Yeah, I can stretch it quite a lot. I just only need 37. Okay. So I'm going to be close to this platform, so I can move it a little bit further. Right? Because everything behind it won't be visible. So I'm planning for our camera to rotate like that. Just end up here with a nice composition of our main artifact. And then in the distance, you're going to see those. I'm just going to push it even further. And then hold Control, rotate it. Cool stuff. Now, I have my Redshift camera here always. It's whenever I start my project, it's there by default. So if you don't have it there yet, I would highly recommend to go to a Redshift cameras and bring in a standard camera, right? So what you will see this, and I would set up your image the way you really like it for now. And we're gonna fly around. We're just gonna work however we want. So I'm just gonna drag this one here. Maybe this one could go on top of that actually. Yeah, we'll fix that later. And find the composition you really like. So I would say I'm gonna extend this platform, kind of like this composition. Yeah, we're almost there. So if I look at our example, yeah, I guess we should do a better job on those boulders at the back. So our platform is there, our camera is in. So we bring in the camera, and now I'm gonna ask you, it depends how you like to work, but I'm gonna lock it in from now on. I'm just gonna lock it. I'm just gonna right click the camera, go to rigging tags, and bringing the protection tag. Now in protection tag, you can say what can get affected with either rotation, scale. So at this moment, I have everything checked. So the camera, I can't move it. I can't move it anymore. Like wherever I want to go, it's just not moving. And the way we just go out of that, we press this a little dot. So we out of that camera. And our IPR adjusted so to follow along, but I don't want that. I want our IPR to look at the Redshift camera, and then you highlight this lock, so it's locked there. So I already have it there, so I'm just going to go Redshift camera lock, and now even when I move, it's all the time looking into my composition that I want to work on. So now I can just go like a God mode, like in a game, and I'm just kind of going to work on it. And I look in my composition, what I'm doing, while having, much better control on the landscape itself. So I guess I like this one there. Those are cool. This one, cool. Some of them I can put really far, super far. I don't want them to be so close to each other. This one, maybe this landscape can go there. Right. This can go up a little. Now, this is slowly getting somewhere where I like it to be. And I always, when I'm getting close, I'm changing the light. I'm gonna bring the light in so I can judge it even better if that's a good composition. But so far it looks good to me. There's like a line here, there's like a smile, and there's a middle section, so that's really good. As we'll do for now. I'm gonna just organize these into some kind of I'm just gonna put them into another group, and we call it boulders. And we have the main artifact separately, so we can just work on it. So ground planes and boulders below that. we all put it into another group that we call world. And then we create another group, which is to highlight our dome light, create group and call it lights. And we highlight the dome light. As you can see on the example, in our picture viewer, it's kind of bluish purple with the light behind, like a sun coming across. So we could do that with the radial gradient, I guess, if we apply it to our dome light. So we'll see what's going to happen. I would start with just the gray. You can even, copy that color over. So if I click on the dome light and take the picker, just get that color into our scene, make it maybe brighter. You can see immediately it started affecting our scenes as well. So you can go even more gray. Nice one. Now you can see another light there, and there's one light over here. And there's another light probably here, or maybe it's the same light on each side. I'm not really sure, but we're gonna definitely do some relighting on the main row. Pardon me, need to drink some. So let's bring in area light. So Redshift lights, area light, and it's in the middle, so it should be in our middle section. I'm just gonna bring it up, press R, rotate it 90 degrees, and just lift it up, and then bring another light, or just hold Control and drag that light, and you create another area light this way. I'm just gonna rotate it back so it kind of highlights the other side. I'm just gonna maybe take it down, so one slightly maybe closer to the rock. Nice. So this is quite good. The other thing is we need to do the fog. So that's going to be another cool trick. You're going to see, I'm just going to drag these lights into our light group, and we're going to call this right area and left area light, which can also change, so it's up to you what you're going to name it. But okay, for now we have something like that, and we're going to tune that look more by just playing with that dome light, increasing the value. Make it more gray. Yeah, I would go more with gray, and we can fine tune that final look later when we know, right? We can also add a graph and go to edit graph, and we see the dome light in our Redshift shader graph. And I guess we can then grab something like a ramp node and plug it into our or maybe texture. No, we can't. Well, I thought we can. But what we can do, environment, so with our dome light, we can, I'm actually put HDRI there just to show you how I did before when I was practicing this. And I'm just gonna drag this texture onto our HDRI tag. And now I can choose something from our Ultimate Skies. You can download any HDRI on HDR Heaven. So I kind of like this one. So it's very close to what I was looking for. It was just too saturated. So what you can do, you can just desaturate the HDRI you download to complete grayness, right? And now it's slowly getting where we want it. But I can highlight the dome light and I can press R and I can rotate it using Gizmo. Just have that sky a bit higher up. Right, something like that. Okay, just having troubles to fine tune this. Okay, so something like this. So this is not bad. This is already pretty good look. I can always reference back to where we were. And now let's create the fog. The fog, the way we create it, it's going to be actually pretty easy. We're going to create planes. I'm just going to look at it from top. And we're gonna create kind of a, I'm just gonna go to E and stretch that plane, rotate it, and rotate it horizontally as well. And ooh, this is wild. So now I have this plane. Right? And if I take some of these boulders like a closer, some of them further, from the most, and then I'll duplicate this plane here. And now I need to create special material. I need to create material that will be half transparent. So we're gonna go like fog plane, or is it fog card? Fog card 1, card 2. So it's gonna be further they are. So let's do 1, 2. Let's start with 1. I'm just gonna go to Redshift, create a Redshift material, and then drag it onto the fog card. This will create a reflective material. So you think you see something, but it's actually a reflection of that rock. And Now we just gonna open that material by double clicking the shader tag, and then we just gonna plug ramp into the opacity of that material. So if I go to overall opacity color, plug in that ramp. Now you see it's a mapping is vertical. So if I go to mapping is horizontal, it's immediately working. Now, next thing I need to do, I need to kind of dial that reflection. So we don't any reflection. Right. Okay, as you can see, I'm moving the card and it's already doing its thing. If I move it up, now I'm going to apply the same material for the card behind. And now we can see the sky. We just need to make it larger so our camera, you know, doesn't see the edges. It's pretty good. I'm just gonna delete the tag on our Redshift camera, go back in it, and I'm just gonna adjust a little. Just gonna need to see what is happening. Wow, I really like how, you know, these rocks are in the distance. Wow, it's pretty awesome looking. Just gonna need to stretch these much further. I'm just gonna don't worry about that. It's just a gradient ramp. Nice. Just gonna rotate this rock a little. It's sticking too much for my liking. Maybe stretch it on the. It's gonna wider block. It's weird. I don't like it. I'll just delete it. Yeah, that's it. So because the folk cards, I can highlight the rocks, and I wanna move. So I'm just gonna remove them from the scene. So I'm just gonna press this little red dot. So this one controls the viewport, and same on the other card. So double click it, and you can't see them. They're still there, but they're just not obstructing your view, and you can highlight the rocks behind it. So now you can, again, you can judge the scene better. So I'm gonna create new. Nice. Just gonna bring this light closer, the left one, and reduce the intensity, and maybe make it even just the colors we pull from here, maybe here straight away. Yes, and then the right area light will pull the same with the color picker. We'll pull it from that image to get that bluish kind of look. Good stuff. Now we can go to that dome light. We have our HDRI there loaded. So you can download any HDRI, any free HDRI with some kind of a storm looking or gray, or you can just go with the gray color. But I can bring more color and change the hue. So if I oversaturate it and then find the correct hue, it's gonna bluey purple. Yeah, and then desat. Now, because the fog cards are there, it's much better for us because now we can increase the light in the scene. But there's these gradients that are making it look like there's not that much light. So it's also not something like we would create with environment, which is much much more taxing for your system. So this is very cheap solution to creating fog and creating that look. So right now I'm pretty happy with that. Maybe I'm gonna drag this just over there. And lift this further up. Yes. I don't like the look of this boulder. Seriously. Maybe none of those boulders. And just maybe hold Control, drag it, and reverse it. So they both same boulder. Just kind of yeah. Now we can apply material to that platform. First, I'm gonna take that platform. Just gonna look at it. I'm gonna increase rotation segments so it's more rounded, and then I'm gonna create material, Redshift material, drag it onto our platform, and create something dark. I'm just gonna go into dark, kind of grayish. I'm gonna pick something from the scene already, so it's just dark bluish. Yes, that's really good. Increase roughness. And we can bring another material and a material blender. So this dark material, we're going to plug into material blender as a base material base color and plug it back into our output. So nothing changed. That's all good. And now we use material blender to layer on top of that. So we use this material, the new one, which we didn't establish yet. We're going to drag it and make it our layer one color. And I'm going to use max and noise to actually reveal that material by plugging it into blend color. So it will be blended based upon max and noise. And this material could be water. So we have kind of puddles there. I'm just gonna have to look at it from top. Increase our dome light for now, just so I see better everything. Yeah. And go to FB. Okay, dome light, platform, shade grab. As you can see, it's very reflective. So what we're gonna need to do, we're gonna do overall scale of that. Just gonna bring it up and then increase that contrast. Bring it to like 15. Slowly getting some kind of look. Yeah. I don't know if we're gonna just go with water, but you can see the materials coming through. Just gonna maybe increase the roughness on it and maybe make it look a bit like a dirty water. Just gonna brown looking. Just gonna remove that dispersion. Maybe water wasn't a really good preset. Maybe something like plastic, so I get like more of that reflection, but I can just more play with that material. Okie doke. Good stuff. You can use the max noise as well to create a bump on that material. So we can just go to bump map, just plug it into our bump map as a texture input, and then go to material blender node, not that one, into our material, and put it into overall bump input. I'm not sure if it did anything. I don't see any changes. Back to our platform. Just gonna dial it with ramp. I don't know what I'm doing wrong here. But anyway, I think this look will be enough because we won't be able to see it anyway. I want to suggest some texture so we can always kind of drag it. Okie dokie. Okay, so we've got our platform, we've got our ground. Now it's a bit too colorful. So what we can do, we can affect those textures. We can desaturate them as well. So what we can do, we can, I'm just gonna put the fog into null as well. And we can go to our world and we can see our ground planes. It's actually 5 of those. We can open them up by double clicking, go to edit shader graph and go to our albedo. And you can see the texture in general. It's kind of, you know, brown. And you can bring a node that's called color correct. So you bring color correct and you plug the albedo into input and plug it into diffuse color. Now we're running through color correct and I can, you know, desaturate it just by saturation scale, like removing completely. And do the same thing for all the others. So if I can just gonna copy that, go inside this one, bring this node, plug the albedo into the diffuse, go into this one, copy inside that node, plug the albedo into input, output into diffuse, right? Double click this one. Now plug the albedo into input, output into diffuse. I see we kind of desaturating the whole land. Which is cool. And the last one, color correct, albedo into input and output into diffuse. That's all 5 of those. And now we have our landscapes to deal with. So we're gonna go to boulders and landscape, open those. Input, output into diffuse. And we also have, I actually don't like the material I created. Now when I look at it, I'm just gonna use the material that I'm using for those landscapes. So I'm just gonna simply hold Control and copy that over to that platform, which is not looking good either. I'm just gonna use one of the concrete materials, just so we get something flat. So feel free to download any concrete material. Just so it looks like it's purposely built. I think the way they Rob built it, it was just, there was some kind of a platform there. So I'm just going by that. And now our main kind of rocks as well. If I go the grayscale, I'm just gonna get some kind of a everyday material collection, just the grunge material, just apply it to the platform. Yeah, something like that. Just double click it and maybe just darken it a little. Just can bring our color correct. And from triplanar, go to input and go to diffuse. And then reduce the or increase the contrast. And that should darken it a little. Right. can go to the scale. Can scale it by 0.2 to 0.2. That's pretty good. And I can also bring the material bender and another material and try again my puddle thing. So this would be layer 1 color, and this one concrete grungy would be base material. We'd plug it into our output. So as you can see, that's how we did it. Okay. And I'm just gonna use make some noise. Blend color 1. So now again, I'm getting this reflection. And so I increase this to 50. Nice. So I'm just getting a couple of those puddles. And I'm just going to make it, I'm going to go to that new material created. Just going to make it refractive, just so it looks like you can see through it, and break it apart with the noise. So I just can bring in cycles and maybe octaves. Nope. Maybe let's try blistered turbulence. Just something more puddle-like, so we can just fly through. Yeah, this is more like a... And if I just remove this, I'm just gonna make it 70. Reduce the brightness. Nice. So now I have a couple of reflective puddles on our surface. We kind of darken it out, and we also gonna look into those main rocks. Now, our main artifact, you know, we'll just go into those materials that we have from Quixel Bridge. Again, bring the color correct. Our albedo into input, output into diffuse color. So we're just gonna plug it in between and click on the color correct. Increase the oh no, you should, it's purple, not bad. Contrast and saturation scale. Yeah, we don't have to do it all the way. I think that's pretty good. Good stuff. So now we kind of desaturated the whole image, and we can also these won't be that visible, so I guess I don't have to do that, but it will bother me though. So I'm just gonna go to that boulder and do it one last time. Color correct. Let's go to input and diffuse color. Now we're just gonna saturation scale. Awesome. Now we remove a lot of color from here, so we just gonna try to bring it with colorful lights, and I'm gonna reduce our dome light again. So I'm just gonna reduce the exposure until the point there where we kind of see barely the last one. Oh my God, this is starting to look really good. Now, the next thing we need to do is to do those small rocks. So we need a circular kind of formation. Oh, we didn't name the guy. It's gonna be Michael. Yeah, Michael, he stands here. He's waiting in T-pose, which is super difficult. I'm gonna bring in the small rocks now. I don't know how many I've downloaded them, but I think plenty. So Tundra small stone, another small stone, another small stone, another small stone. Yeah. Another one. And the last one. That's enough. That's enough. So I have 5 of those because we have everything in a folder, so we can immediately see everything we bring in. Just have that asset, asset name, but everything else is just kind of, I'm just going to bring that platform into the world as well. Michael may be there too, just so it's no. And now these little rocks, we're going to use another matrix scatter. So I'm just going to bring in matrix scatter, but this time we're going to use radial scatter. So in radial mode, I'm just going to go to Redshift object, go to particles and say custom objects, and drag again one by one our small rocks. Now, you can see that now, but if I go to matrix object and go to radius and then lift it up and then increase the count to 400, no, 400, 200, and increase the radius to maybe, yeah, like that. Lift it more up just so we can see that. Maybe I'll increase the lights again just for the purpose of, you know, judging how it looks. And now we go back to matrix scatter and we scattering, we go to Redshift object and we say scale multiplier. It's going to be 0.1. Okay, 0.4. Yeah, we need these kind of small rocks. We're going to do random distribution. And we also bring in random modifier, the random object that will affect as well the parameters, the position X, Y, and Z. So we can zero this out for now, just so we know what we're doing. So if I do the Y position, I'm gonna change kind of position of those rocks. Nice one. So some of them are red. Again, I'm just gonna fix those. I'm just gonna correct them. I'm just gonna saturation scale down, copy this node again, take the albedo into input and then output into diffuse color to override the texture itself. And same for the other one. Input and the output diffuse color. Maybe contrast. Yeah. Now, so that's the basic done. Basically, we have our Redshift. So we can just, again, we can highlight all those Alt G and we're gonna levitating rocks. So those are our levitating rocks. So I can go to metrics object and you can put 0.3, make them even smaller. Yeah, that's better. And in our random modifier, we're going to go to rotation and we're going to rotate them randomly. So we're going to just introduce some yeah, so we're going to animate that as well. So once they levitate, we're going to rotate them all into different directions. So it looks like they've been affected by some kind of a magic power. And that looks pretty good. Just gonna look at that contrast here. Look at that contrast here. Okie dokie. Nice. Then we can also go to random and we can go to scale. We can do uniform scale, so scale uniformly. And we can do 2. So it will scale them uniformly by the parameter of 2. We can just try to make them smaller. Yeah. So 0.1 on a scale multiplier in our Redshift matrix object, and then on a random, uniform scale, we're just going to do it by 2. So this way, when I'm closing in and I look at those rocks, I'm also going to increase the count. So if I go to object and I'm going to go count 400, they're all around. Nice. And I'm just gonna go to random object again, parameter and position Y increase, so they're not all on the same level. And this is finally starting to look interesting, at least to me. I can see the fog guard always. So we need to maybe stretch them horizontally as well, even more. But yeah, Michael's in place, everyone's happy. I think we can lock this. The next thing, I'm gonna animate. What is this boulder here? Can't even see it. Is this supposed to be visible? Oh, that's a little rock we're using. I see. It looks like a massive boulder, but it's actually those rocks that we use for our scatter. I just don't want to see them, so I'm just gonna move them out of the way. And I'm gonna animate our camera. So I'm just gonna move our, what do you call it? Completely blanked it out. Yeah, I can't recall. So I'm just gonna move this. We call it gizmo. I'm just gonna move this over here on the frame 0 and go to our camera, go to coordination, and then just draw. Just click and draw over all these. So we can just save this position as our primary. But that's wrong because I want this to be in the middle. So I'm just by middle button and alt, Middle button and Alt. Good. So now I have this. This is much better. And I'm gonna click those again because they need to be red. Now I'm just gonna move it at the very end. Hold Alt, click on the main rock formation, and just kind of drag and rotate around it until the composition that we've been working on for a while. So I think here it's pretty good with me. And then I'm gonna just paint over these keyframes again. And now when I do it, that's good. Just make sure you have enough keyframes for you to do some kind of decent animation. I usually set my Redshift, my Cinema 4D 240 frames. So there's plenty time for me to do stuff. The other thing you want to animate as well, it's the Redshift. We call it radial rock formation. So you can put it down. So it's like a sits. Right. So it's like on the ground. And again, go to coordination. And paint over these position keyframes. And then we're just going to bring it up. Maybe bring it up here and paint over the Y position, or right. So you see it's kind of lifting itself up. I think that could do for now. Maybe even higher. Let's just go with that. We could also rotate it. Oh no, like that, horizontally. So 17, go back to beginning, or here, we're just gonna go 0 and keyframe it. So now from 39, it will just kind of rotate together with our camera. It will stop here. The other thing you want to rotate as well is the rocks. So now we have the camera moving along, rotating around our main object. We have the rock formations kind of lifting up, and we have the rock itself. So we go to random, and now we have the parameter that we can just control. As you can see, I'm going by the rotation horizontal. So it's going to start at 0. We can go just like here on the frame 33. Just press a keyframe and go all the way up, maybe all the way to the end almost, and then we just gonna do 110 degrees on horizontal rotation. Just take it back, maybe do a couple of those as well. The other rotation, keyframe this too. So you see the rocks will now rotate a little. Good stuff. Now I can as well increase the position of that y-axis, so they can be more close to each other at the beginning, and then they kind of spread as they go up. They're kind of being forced. Same for the radial formation. We can increase that radius, by I don't know, if we happy with where we are at now, and go into the, when we go up, we can just increase it by a little. Just gonna save it. So it's a multiple kind of animation keyframes That will make it much more interesting for us. And now I'm just gonna bring back our dome light. I'm just gonna start at 1 again. And we're just gonna try to relight it a little. I'm gonna rotate our dome light so I don't see the clouds that much. Yeah, just like that. If I bring another texture, if I try like a circle. Yeah, this is much better. Maybe these abstract splotches. Those are the real deal. Oh yeah, what if can I invert this? Oh yeah, I really like that. So that's very similar approach to what he was doing. Just gonna rotate it in place. Which I haven't done really good job. Just maybe keep it on the side. It works. Yeah, I like it much better. So let's pretend the sun is there, and we have our fog card. I can just look into that material, and if we want, we can increase the fog or reduce it depending on whatever we feel like. So we can increase it like that and just dial it properly by moving this white slider. And the only thing we did is just ramp into the opacity color. Right. So we have that. We're boulder. And we have that light. We're gonna have to relight a lot of things. So the other thing is to just make it look good. We can also put the light behind. This is something I tried before. It brings a lot of interesting. Just gonna rotate this. I can make it smaller. Nice. Rotate this light again. Just bring it up. So we can, as you can see, we can light the rock from each side. Just gonna relight this. Right top area. And I'm just gonna remove the guy. We don't need him anymore. Now I'm just gonna bring in X particles, because that's gonna be our particle effect. So just gonna make it maybe less blue, and look at that dome light again. If I can maybe just gonna color correct it. Yeah. I can see that this reflection here is pretty sharp. I think I need to roughen this up. So I'm gonna go to world, I'm gonna go to platform, go to that material, and go to our reflection material, and just bring roughness up. I'm just gonna make it rough enough so it's just unrecognizable in a sense. Yeah. Good stuff. So well done. Am I gonna change our main rock formation? I really don't like those boulders. So we still have a couple rocks here. It's so cool. There's such a little rock in the middle. Maybe I can just drag this one. Okay, let's just drag this. Yeah, so this is much more interesting to me as a main subject, because before I was I didn't like the vibe of those rocks. They weren't defined enough. So we did our animation. So our camera always go into position and it will animate. So it can turn off the IPR and we'll see what's happening. It's pretty good, not bad. Always, it can be better. It can be better. Right. So I'm just gonna work here. It's gonna play. This is where we finish. Yeah. So now when we look at our, we go to our window, picture viewer, shift plus F6, we almost there, right? Our scene is a little bit darker, much darker, I would say, but overall not bad. You can just plug it in here and look at it while I'm gonna adjust that look. We don't need to do it exactly. I think we've replicated most of the stuff. What I wanted to achieve is to achieve that lighting that he has. And I'm sure we could achieve that with bringing, Redshift environment. So we took all that extra effort to create fog cards and don't bring Redshift environment. I have some kind of Mars preset which I'm using. Right. And now I don't know if I can use like a area light. If I go to like light, area light, and bring it all the way back behind those cards and rotate it towards me, it does nothing. Yeah, because of the environment. So I would have to go to Redshift environment and flip the face. Yeah, I would need to know how to work the Redshift environment. There's different methods how you can relight the scene. So I'm kind of disappointed by my I'm kind of not able to light it properly. But I kind of like the look I've created here. So I'm not that disappointed. I'm just I'm only 3 months in Redshift, so my knowledge is limited. Nice. So we have that. I'm gonna save that. I should have saved that. I have autosave actually. So I can't see the rocks as well. So there's this light behind. This this one. Could maybe make it wider. It doesn't make sense because the light is coming from the right. So there's like a sunlight, but this is very foggy. So maybe we could get away with it if we justify the light from this side. And just bring it in like that. Why? I'm still that far. Sometimes it looks like I'm in, but I'm not. Right. So this way we will see the rocks too. So I think this look is great actually. So if kind of side look, I'm just gonna change that side light. It's a sun reflection, and we're just gonna make the image sphere disk. I mean, Redshift environment gives us a little better look, I would say, but unfortunately, you just have to dial. Oh, did we crash? I think we crashed. Yeah, that's it. I'm glad we saved. I'm glad we saved. We did. Just gonna turn off the bridge and turn on the cinema 4D again. How long we recording for? 1 hour 40 minutes. Jesus. Sorry guys, it's too long. Too long. Oof, that was a good save. It was so. Okay, so we've got this animation here. This is how it's gonna end. It's gonna reduce the intensity on that. Just so I get slightly right. I really like this fog. And that one is very far hidden. That we did this really well. Okay, so now what I would do, I would just bring the particles, so X particles and emitter. I just drag it up. Just drag that emitter up, click emission, and we would go to actually display and change it to go to object and go to circle, make it a circle, and then R rotate and rotate it. It kind of sits in the middle. And then we click on the emitter again and we cone angle it 90, and it's gonna emit from the ring only. So this way, when we emit, sorry, I'm gonna turn off the IPR for now. Just gonna overlook development. So the next thing we want to do in the emission, we're just gonna do 4000, and we gonna do pulse. And we say every 30 frames, just blast for 5, and oof, I don't know how to. Wow, that's cool as well. Yeah. So maybe slower, faster. And now I'm gonna go to modifiers and go to the favorite modifier of all, turbulence. And turbulence will make it sexy. Let's go to strength to make it like 20. Yeah, and now we go to modifiers again, and we'll bring attractor. So attractor will appear, and I'll just put it in the middle. So now it will move around. So attractor is attracting it back in, and our emitter is shooting it out all the time. So this looks like something that will get replaced, and we can increase on our emitter, we can increase the speed so it gets further away, right? Well, it didn't get much. Right, and this could be our shiny. So I'm gonna bring the Redshift object, optimize spheres, and create a new material, incandescent, and just drag it onto our emitter. Now, if I play IPR, you can see it here, go to bloom, and put down the threshold, intensity, so softness just a little bit, like that. Okay. Now, I immediately see this light is kind of conflicting. I could keep the same and I can just make it darker. So we get that bluish instead. Just make it smaller. And just highlight a little bit of that row instead of the whole row. Maybe just the top. So improving that look. Maybe just the bottom. Yeah. Okay. Now I'm gonna go to our Redshift object tag, and the scale multiplier be 0.1, and go to emitter, and let's put particle to 8000. Just gonna double that down. I'm just gonna turn off the IPR so we can watch it again. Let's put it back. Okay. Let's put it to like 20,000. Great. Okay, so put a Redshift object again, 0.2. And go to our emitter, put it to like 40,000. And go to our attractor. Maybe reduce that force to like 20. So it gets further away. Or maybe 25, 26. Nice. Back to 20. going to do just 15. Great. So this is our emitter for the shiny particles. And we're gonna need one more emitter for the black ones. Actually, it's 3 emitters. There's another emitter that will be emitting from the ground plane. So if I just copy that emitter over. So just click on that emitter and I just copied it over. And now we have 2. So if I go to that emitter, go to the display and display it as a white particles, and just replay it again. Oh, sorry, particle color here. Oh, I need to be careful here. So particle color white. So this is our shiny ones. And now I'm just gonna go to the other emitter, and those are gonna be our dark ones. So I'm just gonna particle color gray. I'm just gonna move that emitter slightly above. So you can see it's getting affected similarly. But this emitter will have even more particles. So it's just 60,000. So it's going to be slower. And you're going to start, have different variables. Cool. Now this incandescent, we can use the ramp. Illumination color. Just put it some kind of purplito. Put the incandescent as the intensity multiplier 10. Actually, I changed the wrong material. Just gonna put it to 3 maybe to 2, because that bloom doing quite a lot of job there. I'm just gonna remove this. And then we can go to that turbulence and change it to wavy. Maybe curl. The turbulence, increase the scale so we get more defined color. Defined shape. Something more, that's too much. Again too much. Yeah, something like this. Right. Yeah, I didn't realize it's gonna take us so much time, but yeah, we can look at it. We have this one, and I'm gonna create a new material. So Redshift material, and it's gonna be our dark one. So let's just make it dark and make it rough and make a little bit of transparency there. Just gonna kill our computer. Redshift emit maybe that turbulence. If we go just a bit down, take it back to normal turbulence. I think that was looking better. Change the emit object to smaller radius, as well as the other one is coming out of there. Go to the attractor. How did I mess it up so much already? You need the emitter to kill the particles every 50. So it's just gonna be particle birth rate variation full lifespan. So it will live for 30 frames with a variation of 10. Same for the dark one. It will live for 25 with a variation of 20. I'm just gonna see what it does. And this will regenerate every 15. And this will regenerate every 20. And will be faster.
turbulent. Be strong. So lifespan would be 50. Yeah, so something like that. So kind of 2 emissions happening and then kill it. So every time these particles dying off, that there's already another rating. So if I just stop that, play that, and I think we just finish it here because I think we can go forever, but it's been pretty challenging in 2 hours, I guess. In 2 hours, yeah, 2 hour stream, and we've got somewhere. I mean, we're not even close enough to finish this off, but I'm hoping you guys learn a new technique and something interesting for your workflow, and I'll see you in the next episode. So feel free to let me know. What you want to do next, and we can work on this next time in the next episode. I will do those probably bi-weekly. So every 2 weeks we're gonna do Let's Build This episode. So those will be long, probably 2 hours, I guess. So I hope you can survive that with me, and thank you very much, and see you in the next video.